Yo, welcome back to the channel. In this video today, we're going to be going over the Stamina Nightblade for Markarth. Um, Still loving this setup, still using it. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Maximum health is 16.8k, maximum stamina is 33.7. Weapon damage is 2.9 on buffs, weapon critical is 52.4%. Now, I'm a red guard, so keep that in mind. When you allocate points, I have 10 into health and 54 into stamina. To reach that 16.5k, to be over that 16.5k mark up to the 17.5, you really don't need any more than that. The boon I'm running is the Shadow. So, and the food that we're running is Dubious Camoran. So, now, champion points. 23 Warlord, 23 Sprinter, 19 Bashing Focus, 64 Tenacity, 64 Mooncalf, 23 Shadow Ward, 44 Tumbling. Normally, and I have 8 into Shade here. Normally I wouldn't really have anything in the shade here, but I've been doing the Dark Brotherhood quest lines and Thieves Guild. So with this character, you need to be able to the extra little sneaking is helping me out there. But really, you can pull that 8 out, put it into Shadow Ward or Tumbling, whichever one you prefer. Now, in the green tree, Tenacity and Mooncalf are your main ones. Why is Mooncalf at 66? Mooncalf should be at 64. That's where you want that at, is 64, because these are just 2 wasted points. I don't know why they are there. I probably wasn't paying attention when I did it, or something else was going on. I'll have to fix that. But yes, 64 Mooncalf, 64 Tenacity. And then you'll put those 2 points wherever here. It's probably why something came up here in Sprinter. Now, after that, you can either focus on Warlord, Sprinter, or Bashing Focus if you choose to. Or you can get the 75 points into Tumbling, Shadow Ward, or even Shade for the Treasure Hunter passive. What this does, it increases the quality of items you find in treasure chests. That is, Overland, Dolmens, whatever. If it's a chest, you pop it, you'll have a chance of getting a Overland set, you'll have a chance of getting one of the name sets, or, blue, purple, whatever. So, this is just nice to have. So you can go either way. But Mooncalf 64, Tenacity 64, and then you can focus on either side of the tree that you want. So, red tree, we have 40 into Ironclad, 38 Spell Shield, 37 Meteor Armor Focus, 64 Hardy, 64 Elemental Defender, and 27 Quick Recovery. Hardy and Elemental Defender would be the first 2 I would focus on. And then from there, I would take Ironclad to 28, at least 28. And then focus on Medium Armor Focus, Spell Shield, or if you feel like you need more healing, Quick Recovery. You really can't go wrong doing either one. But I would make sure that Ironclad is at least to 28. You can either get Ironclad to 28 as you go with Hardy and Elemental Defender. You really can't go wrong either way. So, just up to you. Nothing here in the blue tree. 25 Physical Weapon Expert here, 51 Master at Arms, 51 Thermometer, 61 Precise Strike, 18 Piercing, and 64 Mighty. Mighty Precise Strike, followed by Thermometer, then Master at Arms, Physical Weapon Expert, and Piercing. Honestly, Master at Arms and Thermometer, you can really level up these 2 either way you want. So, now, sets. First set we're rocking is an old set, and it is a very easy set to get, and that is Viper. You get this from Fungal Grotto 1. I love this set. It is an older set, but after I go over the 2 sets, I will say I did swap this set out for something else, and I will tell you what here in a bit. But anyways, this comes from Fungal Grotto 1, Nern. This is just an enchant on it that it drops with. This is the Knife of Shadow. This drops from the second boss in Fungal Grotto 2, I want to say. It's either the second boss or the last boss, one of the 2. But it comes with an Oblivion enchant on it. You can put a poison damage enchant on this if you want to. I just kind of left it like this because I used to use this a lot in PvP. So, but yeah, definitely poison enchant on it if you don't like the Oblivion damage. Doesn't make that big of a difference. And then we have an infused Absorb Stamina enchant. This can be precise to increase your stamina, your weapon critical. That would take it up to around 55%, I believe. So it wouldn't hurt nothing. I just have an infused axe, and that's kind of what I've been rolling with. So I'm running this on the weapons, and in the jewelry, robust with weapon damage. Of course, bloodthirsty and infused will increase your damage, but not necessarily needed. Back bar, we have a Maelstrom Bow infused with a weapon damage enchant. Um, well, Maelstrom Bow comes from normal Maelstrom Arena. Get in there, 160, get it done. It's very easy. It won't take you long to do it at all. And what this does is increase the damage volley deals by 430 each tick. This bonus increases by 143 every time volley ticks, up to a maximum of 8 times. Now what Viper does, it gives us weapon critical, max stam, weapon critical, and when you deal damage with a melee attack, you deal additional 8.1k poison damage over 4 seconds. This effect can occur once every 4 seconds. This is going to go off a lot. It will. It will trigger constantly. So, this comes from Fungal Grotto 1. Very easy to do on normal or vet. It does not take much to do it all. You can either run 2 daggers if you want until you get that extra axe. You know, so it doesn't really matter. It's a really nice set. It's just very easy to get. Now, for the monster set, we're running cracks. This comes from Fungal Grotto 1 as well, or at least from Fungal Grotto. We're running a heavy Divines helmet, max stamina, and a N-pin medium shoulders. You do want Divines. Now what this set does, it gives us physical penetration, and when you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to spawn drag limbs that create shockwaves in front of you, dealing 1.7k physical damage every 0.4 seconds for 1.2 seconds. This effect can occur once every 3 seconds. With this setup, I was trying to make something very easy to get. It could still have some functions. Now, your DPS will go up if you use Celine's Web. Celine's Web will take your DPS up by 2 or 3k. So it is a whole lot better monster set than Crags. Crags is nice to have. It's very easy. We're close range as it is, and I've got so many stamp characters as it is. I just kind of threw this on her, and I'm actually quite liking it. Now, the second 5-piece set is one that I would recommend getting. It is very nice, especially on a Nightblade, especially doing randoms, and that is Vice Cannon. They changed this set with Greymoor. It used to be more of a PvP set where you could only proc it from stealth. Now you do not have to do that. All you have to do is deal critical damage behind the enemy. And we're running all Divines on the body. It's all medium. And what this does is that all with max stamina as well. And what this set does, it gives us max stamina, weapon damage, stam recovery, and when you deal direct critical damage to an enemy while behind them, you inject a Legion poison that deals 11.3k poison damage over 10 seconds to them and heals you for 100% of the damage done. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds per enemy. So keep that in mind, that per enemy. It kind of comes in handy a lot when you're doing normal dungeons. Now, if you are solo, this set isn't going to do you any good because you got to be behind the enemy. So, and if you're by yourself, then they're going to be looking at you. So I would swap Vice Cannon out, put Viper there, and rock Widowmaker. Widowmaker is a set that comes from, I thought I had it, kept it in with me. I must have put it up because I was using it on another character. Or I forgot about this. We'll try this out. Widowmaker is a nice little set that now adds weapon critical, max stamina, and when your alchemy poisons fire, you drop a poison spore in front of you that bursts after 1 second, dealing 25.8k poison damage over 5 seconds to all enemies within 5 meters. This is a really nice set to have. And you pull more DPS with Viper and with Widowmaker and Vice Cannon than you do Viper and Vice Cannon. So, but I will get to that in just a second. Skills. Our main spell is Surprise Attack. We slash an enemy dealing 8.7k physical damage. If you are flanking the enemy, shred through a small portion of their armor, reducing their physical resistance by 5% for 10 seconds. Attacking with a surprise attack from the flank stuns the enemy for 3 seconds and sets him off balance. Another set that is worth trying out on this one, if you're using surprise attack, is Ravaging. It makes, just because of the, I don't know, it's Ravage or Ravaging. Yeah, it is Ravaging. So, I must not have it. It's probably still in the Stam Sorcerer. Either way, Ravaging, it's going to give you over 600. It's going to give you a little bit extra max health, and it's going to give you over 600 weapon damage in the end. And all you got to do is use surprise attack. you get the extra weapon damage off of when you try to debuff the enemy. So surprise attack lowering their physical resistance by 5% will proc ravaging. So, and it is nice. So, raining slashes. Slice an enemy with both weapons, cause deep lacerations, dealing 2.6k physical damage with each weapon and cause them to bleed for an additional 8.7k physical damage over 10 seconds. You also reduce their movement speed by 30%. Relentless Focus. Focus your senses for 1 minute, increasing your critical damage and healing by 2% with every light or heavy attack up to 5 times. While active, hitting an enemy with 5 light or heavy attacks converts this ability into Assassin's Scourge, allowing you to fire a spectral arrow for half cost that deals 16.2k disease damage and heals for 33% of the damage dealt if you are within melee range, and we will be within melee range every time. Killer's Blade. This is our execute. We thrust a caustic blade with lethal precision to stab an enemy, dealing 4.3k disease damage, and deals 300% more damage to enemies below 25% health. Heals you for 3.4k if the enemy dies within 2 seconds of being struck. This portion of the ability scales off your max health. Now, I will say on the execute, you do not necessarily want to use this until they are below 24%. And even then, I wouldn't really start using it then. Because, you know, each boss, their health, you know, 24% of the health might be different to some. That 24% health to someone might be, they still might have 8 million HP left, and then you don't really want to start spamming that, you know. So do use precaution. You definitely want to start using your Killer Blade once they get around, you know, maybe 1 million or so, if they're in that threshold. If not, then by all means go for it. You know, if it's a normal dungeon boss or something like that, you might want to start going ahead and spamming Killer Blade. But if you're in a trial, you might want to wait till they're closer to 12% before you just start spamming this. So, and then Camouflage Hunter. Well slot, you gain Major Savagery, increasing your weapon critical rating by 2.6. You also gain Minor Berserk for 5 seconds after you deal critical damage from an enemy's flank, increasing your damage done by 5%. Incapacitating Strike. Ravage an enemy with a swift strike, dealing 13.9k disease damage and causing them to take 20% more damage from your attacks for 6 seconds. If cast with 120 or more ultimate, enemy is stunned for 3 seconds. While slotted, you gain Reeve, which restores 100 magicka and stamina when you deal damage with a light or a heavy attack on an enemy with a negative effect on them. So, this is on both bars because we want it on both bars. But we're really only going to cast it on our front bar. And another thing to keep in mind is that because they take 20% more damage from our attacks, we do kind of want to pair this, when we use it, with our Scourge proc. It will make a ton of difference. So, back bar. Poison Injection. Shoot an arrow coated in bend arrow poison at enemy, dealing 3.9k poison damage and additional 7.8k poison damage over 10 seconds. Deals up to 100% more damage to enemies under 50% health. Endless Hell. Launch a multitude of arrows into the sky to rain down, dealing 1.3k physical damage to enemies in the target area every 1 second for 11 seconds after a 2-second delay. This will last for 14 seconds. So, when it's fully maxed up, the duration will be 14 seconds instead of 13. Leeching Strikes. Imbue your weapons with soul-stealing power, causing your light and heavy attacks to heal you for 1.4k health and restore 106 stamina for 20 seconds. Fully charged heavy attacks restore twice the value. You restore up to 4.2k additional stamina when the effect ends based on the length of time Leeching Strikes was active. So you want to leave this up for the full 20 seconds. Now, if you just need a little bit of resources just to throw off the last 2 impels, then by all means you can pop it a little early, but you want to try to leave that there. You want that to run out. You want that to last the full 20 seconds. Barb Trap. Set a sharpened blade trap at your location, which takes 1.5 seconds to arm, and lasts for 1 minute. When triggered, the trap deals 3.9k physical damage, an additional 14.1k physical damage over 18 seconds, and grants you Minor Force, increasing your critical damage by 10% for the duration. Enemies who activate the trap are immobilized for 2 seconds. Resolving Vigor. Let loose a battle cry, instilling yourself with resolve and healing for 13.1k health over 4 seconds. And then Incapacitating Strike again. So, if you have a trusted healer in your group, like you know you're not going to die, then just place Camouflage Hunter on the back bar. If you're worried about whether or not you're going to die, use Resolving Vigor. You know, depending on who I'm running with, I don't always have to have Vigor on my bar. I trust them as a healer. So, now when it comes to rotation, it's pretty easy. But real quick, buffed up stats. We do use weapon power pots with this setup. Our weapon damage is 3.4 without the weapon damage proc, and our stam recovery is 1.8, and that is so. That's about. So we jump up a little over 4K, and with the weapon damage proc and everything, it's around 4K. So now, Scourge is proc. That's weird. Boop. I wonder why that was proc. I have no clue. But anyways, when it comes to DPS testing and stuff like that, you can pull some pretty. You'll hit 30K. Now with Widowmaker, this is more of along the lines of, I think it's closer to 35K than it is anything. Actually, no, I think it was 36.2 was where it was at. But that's also, alchemy poisons also will increase your DPS as well. So if you use an alchemy poison on this, your DPS, where you hit 30K with this exact setup, I didn't change nothing. This was the exact setup I used the DPS test, using weapon power pods and everything. It was 30K. With poisons, you're probably going to go up to around 32. So with Widowmaker is about 30, close to 37. So, but just try it out. I like Widowmaker, but I just kind of been rolling with this. So when it comes to this, you'll buff up, pop your pot, trap, hell, and double cast it, poison injection, raining slash, and then fire off a couple of those. I like to see, as you see the Bandero poison up there, just keep an eye on it. When it gets to the last few, fire that off as soon as you can, but just keep them up. You can see your dots up there. That middle one's Vice Cannon, so you just keep going with it. When you get your Scourge, pop. Try to trigger them together. But that's really all there is to it. The rotation is very easy. It's very simple. So, real quick, Barb Trap, Endless Hell, Light Attack, Poison Injection, Light Attack, Raining Slash, Surprise Attack, Scourge, Surprise Attack, Rotate, Poison Injection, Endless Hell, up, wrong button, and then just Raining Slashes, go back to it, Poison Injection, Barb Trap, Raining Slash. It's very easy rotation. It doesn't take much at all. And it's just going to take practice. But you'll be able to hit 30K with this. So that is enough to get into most Vet trials. That's enough to do normal trials. That's enough to do almost every dungeon on Vet. So, and like I said, if you do not have Vice Cannon, cannot get Vice Cannon. This is from the traders. Most pieces, there's quite a bit of it up there now. Go with Widowmaker if you want to stick to the poison theme. If you don't, then just grab you some Briarheart, and that extra weapon damage is really nice. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the build. I hope you have a lot of fun with it, because I absolutely love the changes they made to Vice Cannon. I'm actually having fun trying this out on different things. Viper is definitely a set that I've replaced a couple times. But Vice Cannon, I tend to be sticking with it. And something else that I found really interesting is that with Vice Cannon can help you proc Affinity and Venom, which is a nice little set that, let me pull it up here. It comes from Hellraw, so you can farm it on normal. And basically, when you deal damage with a light or heavy attack against an enemy who has a poison damage ability on them, that's Bandero's poison. But for some reason why, it should not proc it, but it seems to proc it. You can light attack and you can deal that 5k poison damage to an enemy every 2 seconds with your light attacks. Vice Cannon seems to be able to proc this. I don't know why. I've also swapped out Viper for Venomous Smite a couple times. And either way, it's fun in general. And I ain't having any issues. So, have fun with it. Have fun with the game. That's what it's all about. Until next time, take care.